And it's connecting. Hey, here we are.
Hello, welcome. This is day 5 of our Evolve Your Resolve challenge. And this is Karen, my partner and founder of Goddess Mastermind Group. I'm Lucy Clark.
Welcome, you guys. We're pretty excited. We made it all to day 5. That's awesome. And you know what we get on day 5? What do we get, Lucy?
Celebration,
Right,
reward, a job well done, a moment to pause and just breathe.
right. So part of the sustainability cycle, which I talked about, maybe it was on day 2, is that most of us, and in our current culture, we're so focused on the action. We're so focused on the action that a lot of us will make a list, do the thing on the list, and then go directly to the next thing on the list, and then do that and do that and do that and do that until you fall down at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would say is like one of the main causes of burnout, right?
When you keep going and repeating and not giving that cadence to the process, so to speak. Yeah, the the rest is so important, and just honoring, looking back at what you've accomplished. Because plenty of times I'll have a day where I'll look back and go, "What did I get done?" And it's not even true. And then when I really do look and get that moment to pause, it's so much more rewarding. There's just something about the shift in me that really helps, like you say, sustain and keep going.
Right. And another thing that really needs to be celebrated, I think that people don't pay much attention to, is that effort needs to be celebrated. We're so focused on valuing ourselves by the result of our efforts. Um, and part of your self-worth, right, is valuing yourself regardless, right? And say, I tried really hard this week. May not have worked out, but I tried really hard. And that's an important thing to settle into yourself too and really feel grounded.
Mm, I would agree completely. It's so easy to just kind of get caught up and not being okay with when you need to take time, and whether it be from a stress, a headache, some other personal issue that comes in, and we just kind of want to go, no, 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 don't feel that, don't go there, don't honor even that, and then just dive into work and forget about this personal part that also needs its recognition.
Right, because we don't have businesses for the sake of having businesses,
Mm-mm.
right? We have businesses because we have lives, right? And honoring your life, and of course in business you need to have a employee picnic, have some kind of a celebration thing for your business as well as for yourself. But that's the thing that's going to like fortify you. And we do a lot of talking about how self-care is actually um, leads to more productivity, which seems counterintuitive. But the truth is, if you're not rested, centered, and grounded, and solid, you're not going to be able to do as good of a job as you could otherwise.
Mhm. I know for myself, having many years ago, I was not a very good vacation taker. There would be years that would go by before I would leave the house. I was in the early stages of my business, and even, oh, I don't know, 5, 10 years in, vacation was like, what's that? And my husband at the time, my partner in business, we often felt, oh, we can't get away for even, the briefest of moment. We needed to have our computer with us. We needed to be responsive. And it really just wasn't true. And it really did take me down quite a few notches, and it just didn't feel as rewarding. And so finally, I was able to say, we're going to be taking a nice vacation and we won't bring our laptop, and we will let people know. And if anything, that notification that we weren't going to be available for the next week, everybody was like, great, good for you. And by the way, I also have this project and this project. And when you come back, let's talk about it. So it almost just put that, planted that seed. And everyone can also realize that you're taking care of you. And so there's just sort of a, I don't know, I guess an understanding that comes about when we give ourselves permission to take off time. And now I'm much more free with being able to get out of the office, and it's just leaps and bounds been able to rejuvenate me. So I'm very grateful for these moments to be able to be so productive in my business when I'm in the seat. And then when I'm out, I just relish those sunrises and sunsets of vacation.
And you bring up a point, Lucy, like, of course, um, you know, you need to delegate as part of having a business. That's part of the process. But how many of us delegate so that we can take better care of ourselves? Not just because we're completely, usually when I hear people talk about delegating, it's because they're completely over the top, and so much so that they realize that they are just putting out fires and not being effective. But what about someone delegating something so that they could go get a massage? That's another level of delegation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, completely. I mean, I think it's just part of, I think once you commit to saying, I'm going to do this for me, it then can kind of become more matter of fact, and it won't feel like a disruption. It'll feel like a very normal part of business, that you give that time for yourself to step out and have that, treatment and that, reward also for all of your efforts. So
And how important is it, Lucy, to have a community and a workplace that supports that kind of self self nurturing, right?
Oh, huge. We get that reminder, because when you hear someone else, doing that kind of thing, oh, I made time for, it's not just your doctor appointments, but your wellness. That's really important, because if you do keep going, that's when you can become sick, and that's your body's way of saying you're going to slow down right now. And so if you can preempt that with your own self-care and have this wonderful, group of women who are, certainly we're all going through our different levels of thriving and or struggles, but just sharing in that is invaluable. I can't say how amazing it's been. Like
Yeah.
any of the coaching that I've been through, there, we and others were also guiding each of us. It's wonderful.
Right. And even if you work, or especially if you have a work culture that does not celebrate or value self-care, it's even more important to create that around yourself, to normalize that, because really in our culture it's not normalized. It's seen as selfish. So I had a friend who took the goddess sustain, not sustainability, the goddess superpower quiz, and it came out at the end that her type was plenty, which is the whole abundance, celebration, you know vacation type of person. And she was really disturbed by it. She said, I feel like, I feel like that means I'm selfish. And I was like, I could see how our culture tries to teach people that taking care of themselves is selfish. But, without having that settledness, without having that valuing of yourself, you can't really be effective in helping almost anyone. What's the saying? Put your oxygen mask on first. Love that saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's like, what was it? I think it was Warren Buffett. I'm going to quote Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was like, I always realized I wanted to be rich because I could help other people instead of other people having to help me.
Mm.
And I thought that was super profound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So become rich within yourself, right? And then you can help other people and reach out, and you will have you have resources to offer, and not just money resources, time resources, intelligence resources, emotional resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you take care of yourself, you're an asset to the people around you.
And I think everyone can also feel that. They can feel when you're in alignment, where you're, you have that energy level to meet them where they are. And, you mentioned a really good point about time. Time is our most precious asset. And so by giving to yourself in those specific increments and not just waiting until it's so the last minute where you're weighted down and so tired and so fatigued, but having it be a regular part of your schedule. You block out time specifically for your work and you honor that. You start when you say you're going to start. And it's really amazing. I have in my journals when I'm going to end my day, and I stick to that. And that also is a really wonderful feeling because you've got this concerted, defined time for your work as well as your self-care.
That's a very practical point. What do they say? If it doesn't go in the schedule, it's not going to happen.
I have experienced that slippery slope quite a bit. And this, what is it? Someday leads to the road of nowhere. So when I say I'll get to that, that project that really, that I really want to do, but it isn't necessarily getting on the schedule or it isn't priority because there's these other, seemingly more important things, I can get easily pulled away from that. And so when I really look back and reflect and note where I want to be going forward, then those things start to come into the schedule along with, the self-care, with meeting with my peers in the mastermind. I mean, that's so important to show up every time, whether I feel like it or not, whether I feel like I failed that week and didn't accomplish, my specific set intentions. That's the perfect time to come together and talk about it and, hear perhaps where you go off track. And unless you're vocalizing that out loud, you can really get kind of lost in the, I'm just, no good and it didn't work. And
Right.
so, owning up to how everything went and being okay with that flow. It's really been very helpful for me.
Yeah, it has for me too. And I was just thinking, it's almost like when you go and meet with like a spiritual group, or if you go to a church or a synagogue and you go on a regular basis, and sometimes you're like, today I don't want to go today. It's too much. I'm exhausted. But for me, every time I go to something like that, even if I'm exhausted, even if I didn't want to go, if I make myself go, I get things out of it, like amazing things you can't plan. You can't go, oh, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get like rah, rah, rah. No, where something like maybe something you've heard like, 5 or 6 times before suddenly hits you in a new way and you go, oh, and I get that from talking about my experiences to the other people in the group or from hearing them talk about their experiences. It's a very like raw and real place that's focused on your experience and your experience of your business.
Yeah, as an independent entrepreneur for many years, having had different partners and partnerships and groups of teams working with, there's still nothing like having this group to help guide, because there's different issues that do come up with someone, whether when you're hiring or delegating, and knowing when to do that is it's very just helpful to articulate it in terms of, you know, what others might think. And so, yeah, you can come in with a complete question that you're not sure of, you're definite of something, and you want to announce it. There's a lot of different ways to share and get feedback, and just stay on course. It's that consistency and camaraderie is amazing.
Right. And another thing that's super beneficial I have found is that it's a place where everyone wants you to succeed, but no one has any stake in what you're doing. So the feedback that our members get from each other is completely honest. It is not a place where anybody's positioning or anything like that. Like someone can bring something to the group and say, "What do you think of this?" And a person will say, "I don't like it." I don't know why. I just don't like it, and that's acceptable, right? It's really a unique place, because even if I don't know if you've asked, you know, friends or family advice about your business, ooh, they don't understand not even the stakes that you're looking at, but it's just they want to please, you know, either they want to protect you, so they're going to discourage you from taking chances and risks, or they just can't relate at all and don't see why things are relevant. So this is a group that understands all of that.
Yes, I have certainly experienced that whenever I've talked about things. And for the most part, you get a lot of agreement and a lot of head nodding from friends and family, because usually that's kind of like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. And then they're not necessarily in that realm to be able to help. And just hearing that, you know, positive doesn't necessarily a benefit, you know, because you really do need to consider all of the different, you know, whether it be negative or neutral or or, you know, there's so much involved. But I think one of the biggest things that also I really enjoy about being in the group is that, you know, you're certainly talking about how things process and how things go for you for that week. And you don't even realize that there was a moment there that everybody's like, wow, that's really awesome. And everyone will like clap or give you a, you know, hell yeah, that was amazing. And then you're like, yeah, like high fives all the way around. And you can, like, you know, give a virtual high five these days. But it's so easy to just, you know, go right past that and glaze over it. And everybody's like, oh, let's celebrate that. I haven't, I haven't had that. And that's been so rich and so powerful. And now I find I can notice it when I'm going through my day and I'm like, oh, I'm going to pause. I'm going to celebrate that. And I'll give myself a little high five, and oof, it's just a breath and a moment. And really do feel that forward progress too. So, yeah.
So awesome. And this community is open to you. You are totally welcome. You can join our free mastermind, which is getting to be a big group. So if you want a smaller mastermind, there are other ones available too. But come and join our big mastermind. Connect with people, kind of get a taste. We really want it to benefit as many people as possible. We're really committed to working with women who are self-employed or have a small business, and bringing them together in that community, because there's truly nothing like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whether you're just starting up or whether you've been in business for quite a while, there's so much that can be found in our masterminds. And, you know, having that decision that you're going to commit to this, and then even leveling up into some of our pay groups, I find that when I pay for the different programs that I'm in, I take them so seriously. It's so important. And this enables us to be able to give back and offer our free mastermind. So without our paid courses and workshops and masterminds, you know, that's how we go about and operate. So we would love to see you and fit you into one of our masterminds, and love to talk about your business and find out where you are and what your needs are. So there's a whole bringing in and onboarding process.
So awesome. We're so glad you've joined us for these 5 days. And we'd love to hear what you got out of it. In addition to your strength, that would be amazing to hear. And just anything that kind of rang that perked up your ears a little bit. Just put a comment below. We'd love to have a little discussion with you about it. And yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time and being here.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And stay tuned, and we'll have more out there on the Goddess Mastermind group page. You're welcome to head on over and like that and be able to get more communication. And we look forward to seeing how we can support you in your business.
Thanks, you guys. Really hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Or weekend in this case.
This is true. It is the weekend. Celebrate for that as well, what we've accomplished this week and getting all set up for our following week.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.